Watch this video to the end and you will find answers to your questions. Imagine, early in the morning in summer, a woman comes to the market, buys everything she needs for her husband and children. Food, clothes, dog food, parrot food. She bought everything, but it's already 10 o'clock in the morning. It's summer, it's hot, the sun is beating down, and she only has $2 left. It's time to go home. And then, as if to make matters worse, there is a man standing nearby selling ice cream, saying, "Buy ice cream, sweet, delicious, cool, with raisins, with nuts, all for just $2. Our heroine stood there, thought for a moment and said, "Okay, I'll wait until I get home. I'll buy the kids some chocolate bars on my way out of the market." She leaves the market, goes to the kiosk to buy chocolate, looks and sees that her bag has been opened and her wallet stolen. Does this happen? Yes, it does. But why? She's an honest and decent woman. She didn't even spend $2 on herself. So why did they steal her wallet? Let's look at this situation abstractly, from the outside. You are an honest and decent woman. You did everything you needed to do. You bought everything for your family, your husband, your dog, your parrot. You did everything you needed to do. You want to buy ice cream, cool and delicious, and you have $2. So it seems like you should pay $2, eat the ice cream, and be happy. To which she replies, "No, I don't want to be happy. I'll endure it, no problem." Then we'll give your $2 to the alcoholic, who has a very dry throat after yesterday's binge and is very thirsty. And he'll never give his $2 or a glass of beer to anyone in his life, and he'll be happy until the evening. It's just that if this alcoholic was worth $100, he would have opened your bag as soon as you entered the market. But he's not worth $100. He's only worth $2. And he opened your bag at the end, when you felt sorry for spending $2 on yourself. But when we lose $2 by saving on ourselves, it's quite funny. But when people lose hundreds or even thousands of dollars by saving on themselves, it becomes sad. As a friend of mine says, I came to a lecture, and before the lecture there was some free time. So I walked around the market and saw a chic denim jacket that cost $150. But I didn't want to spend that money. So I went to the lecture without buying the jacket. And at the lecture, they say you can't feel sorry for yourself. After the lecture, I returned to my car. The hood was open, and someone had stolen the battery, which cost $150. Why did I feel sorry for spending that money on the jacket? That's why you can't feel sorry for yourself when it comes to money. Money starts to come to those who don't feel sorry for themselves. A friend of mine called me and said, "Listen, yesterday my daughter and her husband were driving in their car when they were stopped by a police officer who said that their car was wanted. The license plates had been changed, and it would be returned to its owner in Europe. How could it be wanted? We bought it 6 months ago, checked it on the computer, and everything was fine." The police officer says, "I know nothing about that, but look, the license plates have been changed. We have to take this car away from you." So they paid him $400, and he said, "Okay, go ahead, I must have gotten confused." Well, smart people ask, why exactly $400 and why yesterday? I said to him, well, maybe you felt sorry for yourself yesterday and didn't want to spend $400. On ourselves? Never in our lives, I tell him, think about it. And he remembers and says, yes, 3 months ago, my daughter said to her husband, "Listen, I want to buy a new stove for the kitchen. European quality with all the new technology. And how much does a stove like that cost?" She replies, "Well, this stove costs $400. Her husband says, "Okay, I'll save up the money." A week ago, he says to her, "Listen, dear, I've already saved up the money. When are you going to buy this stove?" She replies, "Our old stove in the kitchen still works fine." And then a police officer who really needs $400 shows up, and he won't give up his happiness to anyone. And he needs exactly $400. And it happened exactly 5 days after my wife refused to buy a new stove for the kitchen for $400. We had a similar situation in our family. My wife told me she needed new winter shoes. I had some money, so I asked her, "Are you going to buy yourself some winter shoes? It's already November." She replied, "My old winter shoes are still fine." I said, "Okay, fine." And literally the next day, some friends called me and said, "Listen, can you lend us some money?" They asked for exactly the same amount that I had set aside for new winter shoes for my wife. But since I was saving the money to buy new shoes for my wife, I didn't know how to explain it to them. They told me, "Don't worry, we'll call you back in the evening." After that call, I go to the kitchen to my wife and say, "Listen, my dear, you know the laws of money. If you don't need this money for new shoes, let's help our friends who are good people." She says, "Okay, I'll decide something by tonight." And 20 minutes later, they call back and say, "Listen, don't worry, we've already found the money." I think it's strange what happened, but okay. I go to the kitchen and ask my wife, "Have you decided anything yet?" She says, "Yes, we're buying new winter shoes." That's why you shouldn't feel bad about spending money on yourself.